What is up, YouTube? We're going to talk about what I have noticed on the comic book market selling on Instagram, YouTube, Shortboxed, and eBay. We're going to talk about those items right after this video. So what's up, YouTube? So like I said, we're going to talk about the comic book market, buying, selling. And like I said, we're going to talk about what I've noticed in the comic book market on Instagram, YouTube, Shortboxing, eBay, etc. This is going to be discussion. It's going to be a talk. This is a chat of talking about what I've saw and what I've noticed since I've been selling a lot. More than others on different platforms, starting my business this year and things of that nature. So shout out to Las Cruces for stopping in. Appreciate you, sir. So what we got going on before I get started and talk about this market, we're going to talk about this. So this is the super chat giveaway of the month of July. So we're going to have this book amongst others. Giving away $2 get you one entry, $5 get you 3 entries for this book and others. But I also have a channel member giveaway as well, and that will be revealed later on in the month. So that's what I got going on the channel. But let's talk about the market a little bit. And like I said, it's just discussing, it's a chat. I might show a little GPA, but it's basically just some questions that we're going to talk about and whatever question that you guys might bring up. What's up, Warren? Appreciate you stopping in. So if you guys have questions, more than happy. What's up, Comic Kid? More than welcome to chat. Like I said, it's probably going to be like I want to say 30-minute video. Probably 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It's not going to be a super long video, but what I've noticed, in the market on IG, YouTube, and Shortbox, and etc. What's up, Big BLC? Is actually a double-edged sword, meaning that a lot of people think it's a buyer's market. I think it's a buyer's and seller's market going on. So that's what we got going on right now. I think in the marketplace, it's a buyer's and seller's market because I've been noticing it's not hard to sell items. It's hard to sell items sometimes maybe at a premium, certain items. Let me say it like that, certain items. But and it boils down to what do you have into an item. That's what I've noticed. What do you have into an X item, and what are you trying to get out of X item? Good businesses try to get 50% margins on an item. 50% or more on an item to be a successful business. In a comic book market, long as you're not losing money, that's actually a good thing. So what I've noticed that it's not hard to get that 15% margin. Like I said, it's about what you buy, what you do with it, what you sell it, press it, clean it, grade it. What depends on what you do at the long term for that item. And what I've noticed on the few markets that I've talked about, Instagram, YouTube, and Shortbox, Instagram is still a hot market. Instagram is a totally different market from YouTube. Instagram buyers I've seen buy $100,000 books through a friend of mine, Elite Comics 11. And it bought me $100 books. YouTube is a different story. YouTube, it's more of the smaller end stuff that have been moving easier, dollar stuff, very cheap stuff, which is not a problem. But stuff is moving. It's just different things. But I've also seen stuff on YouTube. People don't want to let people know what they're buying. So a lot of sales on YouTube, big sales, happen in the background, backstage, DMs, however you want to call it. A lot of people don't want to put their business out there because they just don't want you to know. which I'm not going to reveal anybody's business, but that people are still, they're buying big books on YouTube, but it's behind scenes. Shortbox is Shortbox. I've only listed so many books on there, but I've sold 6 items. I think I've listed like 20 items total. I've taken stuff down when I sold it on IG, taken stuff down if I sold it on YouTube, vice versa. But I've sold at least 6 items on Shortbox. I've sold over $1,000 items, and sold $100, couple $100 items. So Shortbox is still a good avenue. It's a great app. I like their updating features now. They actually can send people offers, so that's a good little feature they've added. I'm not going to touch more on Whatnot because I don't do a lot. I do Whatnot, but I don't do it fully like some other people. That's not my main source. And for me, Whatnot doesn't touch IG or YouTube, not even close. For me, other people, that's all they do is Whatnot, and they have they have that certain setup. That's a different topic on a different day. Some more people jumped in. We got Panda Awesome. We got Southern Comic Geek. Comic Hits said Instagram is so slacking on not having a proper marketplace. Maybe for you, but that's why they have other, avenues. It's not slacking at all in my end. That's why Instagram was number 1 on the list for me of the avenues I use to sell. From Elite Comics 11, it's a consignment page. And they do live sales with people. I've seen people turn over, like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars on one live sale. I've seen people sell $20,000, $30,000 books on one live sale. So they actually have the proper marketplace. It's the proper person to follow. That is the marketplace. It says IG is focused on trying to. Well, you're talking about a whole different avenue. You must be looking at a lot of TikToks and a lot of videos and stuff like that. It's all about who you follow, who do you consign with, if you agree with the consignment and stuff like that. So let's go to some other questions that I had right now. What are my thoughts on the current comic book market? My thoughts are the current comic book market is still strong. It's still strong. It's like I said, that's why I think it's a buyers and sellers market. I don't see. I did a sale with Elite Comics 11 on IG, with amongst others. I sold almost everything that I wanted to sell. A couple things that sold didn't get paid for, so you got to put that on the. I wanted some but didn't sell it. It went very well. I mean, I made deals with people because I knew what I had to into certain items. And people were buying. I watched another guy his name is Irelander Phil on Instagram, was selling amazing books, big books, and small books, but he was selling constantly, and had no issue. So the state of the current comic market, I think, is still strong. As far as, but I think people are being more selective. I think people are being more focused on what they want, what they need. I think people are, and I say focused and selective, is like if people have a book, they will upgrade a book if the price is right, and then sell the other book, and it helps pay for that. I've seen that happen a lot. But I also see people, if they don't need the book, they don't buy it. So it's a little mixed bag. I know some people don't like to hear that, but it is a buyers and sellers market. So the word is cheap. What is the word cheap for? BLC, I don't know where you're going with it. He said, I suppose on IG, let's try to sell it. All right. So, and that's what I noticed on there. Shortbox, I've noticed the same thing. People are buying. Like I said, I don't post every book that I want to sell on Shortbox because they only do slabs. But I didn't have as much issue on selling on Shortbox. The items I want to sell, I've sold. They've more streamlined their avenues as far as payment, so I can get direct payment. It takes like an extra day than ordered in PayPal, but I'm okay with that just because I don't have to deal with PayPal. And once they receive, if it's $1,000 item, they have to ship it to them. Once they receive it, they cut you your money and you get it within 1 to 2 business days. If it's under $1,000, you ship it directly to the buyer, and you get your money once they receive it. So that avenue has been doing very well for me. I don't use eBay as much just because the eBay's fees are higher than anybody. So I've kind of cut away from eBay, but eBay is one of the best as far as selling because you have millions of eyes seeing an item, and I've seen people sell stuff and getting deals on it, but I've also seen people sell stuff for very good price, getting good prices on stuff. So it's all on how you look at it. Though some people think the market's down because certain books are down, but certain books are up. I'll use this book as an example of what I've been noticing. This book here is Ultimate Fallout 4. This is the one at 25. 9.8 recently sold for 40 grand. It's not a 9.8, but what is this telling me is that the market is still strong for certain books. Certain books have dropped, but it's still selling for a lot more than it were 2 years ago. They might not be selling for as much they were selling 6 months ago, but they're still selling for a hell of a lot more than they were 2 to 3 years ago. Case in point of Vengeance #1. I don't have a lot invested in this book. That's why I sold my extra copies, even though I could have sold them more if I'd have got them back quicker. But I didn't have a lot invested in all these books. This book dropped to, I think it was like around $800. I still made over 50% margins on this book in that market. Yeah, I could have made more if I'd have sold it at a $2,000 mark. I still made a good profit. So that's why it always boils down to what do you have into a certain item. So let me see what the chat is. I'm actually looking at some notes on the computer. This is IG selling is almost too easy. Next week I'll be posting a picture with 6 copies of one book. I bet I get a DM offer in an hour. that is like it's a lot easier. It is a lot easier to sell on IG, as I've noticed, and through certain, use certain consignment pages. You can use Elite Comics 11. You can use Grail. I think it's Grail's Comics. I'm not 100%. I don't use them, but I know they have another seller, and they take a small percentage fee compared to like eBay, Shortboxed might take. I know Elite takes 5% on sales on the page, and I think 7% for live sales, which to me it should be almost the opposite, because when they on their page they have 30,000 followers. On their IG live sales, they might have like 120, maybe at max 130 people view. So you actually have more eyes on their page than you have on the live sale. But you do tend to have some big sales happen during live sales, and it just depends on a lot of things. This is what's going on, Los Comic Journey? What's going on? He said, I feel an upgrading part of the market. Been doing that myself. Yes, I've been doing that as well, upgrading. And I only do it when I see a certain deal, and if I sell certain items, I'll use that money that I sold stuff plus selling of the item that I'm upgrading to help fund the upgrade. So that's what I've been doing as well. And I see it's been working well because people get a chance to buy an awesome book at a good price, and then you funnel that money into an upgrade. I don't have some of the upgrades that I can show off, but that's actually a great plan and a great slow methodical burn for people to do when they're buying stuff in the comic market. So what has, and all right, and this is another thing I want to touch on is what I've been noticing and what has been selling. So what I noticed slash what it has been selling is popular stuff like for its MCU stuff or Silver Age um, stuff has been selling really easy. Also, Golden Age. Right now, what I've been noticing on the IG side, Golden Age is hotter than anything I can touch, than anything to touch. Golden, if it's priced right, if it's hard to find, which a lot of Golden Age is, Golden Age can't stay on claim sales. They can't stay, especially if it's priced right. People claim them, people buy them. If the price right, they sell immediately. So I've been noticing Golden Age has been going on an uptick of people buying and people selling because people are selling them as well. And key books, as far as popular books like the Ultimate Fallouts, have been easily selling. Like the prices might have been fluctuating on that book, like even like on that type of book, but it's still been easy selling. Like I said, at the end, it always boils down to what you have into an item. If you have $2,400 into Ultimate Fallout for the regular cover, yeah, you might not want to sell for $2,500. You probably would have been better off selling for $3,000. Understandable. What else I've been noticing selling besides Golden Age? Fantastic Four Silver Age. Variants, hard to find variants that are keys, meaning like the Miles Morales stuff, the Vengeance one, like that one in I think 15, Miss Marvel's like stuff like that. I've been noticing selling. Silver Age keys have been getting more and more hot, or it's like X-Men or Fantastic Four. What else? But that's the stuff I've been noticing selling. Miles Morales is still hot. But it's all about pricing because people are not going to overpay for a book that's heavily printed. Same thing with Hulk 181. I've been noticing Hulk 181 pop up on sales a lot as far as like on the claim sale page. People, well, not to say popping up a lot. I've been seeing them pop up here and there, and nobody's buying them because I think Hulk 181 actually is priced out. They're selling for that price on auctions, but people are not buying them on claim sales or consignment pages. I know CDC at one point graded over 10,000 copies. CBCS probably graded a few thousand. So they have probably like 20, 30,000 graded copies are out there probably about now. And the price has gone crazy with no news of, Wolverine, no X-Men news, nothing significant. And the prices have been going crazy on that book. And compared to what it was, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, that one's insane. So I've been noticing people have not been buying that one, but I've noticed people buying like Fantastic Four #1, which almost in any grade, depending on what it is, it's like almost $10,000 a point. But I saw somebody buy, I saw a Fantastic Four 4.5 on Grails. I think it's Grails Comics on IG. Sold for $45,000. Elite Comics 11, I believe, sold at 2.5. I think, and I know it was over $20,000. So the FF1 blue chips have been selling, are selling better than the Hulk 181. I've noticed that because people are not paying the $10 to $15 or $20,000 for Hulk 181. They'd rather go get the FF1. That's what I've been noticing as well. Same thing with X-Men 1. They would rather buy the X-Men 1 before the Hulk 181. Giant size I've seen creep down as far as sales. As far as people trying to sell them or people selling them, been having a harder time to sell it. So that's another book that's probably going to take a more of a dip, but I think it's going to settle in. But blue chips across the board have been kind of holding steady. Those have not really gone down. They're more chance of probably going to be slowly still going up, even if it's 2-3% a year until we get over this little hump we are. But like I said, deals are out there, buying and selling. It's both for the side of the market. For example, this book here, this first appearance of Wasp. This came out in 1963. A lot of males don't want this book because it's a female character, but it's a big book. This is a big book from 1963, and people don't remember. People tend to forget that Wasp was an original member of the Avengers. If you look at the Avengers 1 book, you have the Avengers all there, teaming up. Wasp is on there with Ant-Man. So that is a big book, but the guy I bought it from, he knew what he had into the book. He knew what he had to get out of the book, and I still ended up getting this book over $400 from the last sale at this grade. So if you have GPA, you can look it up and see what I'm talking about. You can kind of guess at what I paid for it, but it was under $400 the last sale with that. So I was willing to pay it, spend money. He was willing to sell it at that discount because he knew what he had into it. So his feeling was mutual. Let's see what Los put on here. I've been trying to pick up early Miles, second, third prints on the cheap. Riri, second and third prints. Moon Girls. Yeah, those are starting to get harder to find and starting to move up in price. Correct on the Miles. The Moon Girls, so hard to find, like her key stuff, like second, third prints. Riri actually has been going down. And people don't realize Riri stuff is actually harder to get than Miles, and I believe Moon Girl, if I'm not mistaken. Certain Riri stuff, like this variant of her first full appearance, is actually more of a rare book than this 1 in 25 Miles. If you go through the history and know how to get that book, this book should be in the 9.8 should be over $40,000 if the 9.8 and the 1 in 25 is. That's just if you're going by numbers, rarity, significance. One's a spider character, one's an iron character. They're like what and what. They're not the character. They are an extension of the character. And I believe what holds this down is because, I hate to say it, it's an African-American female, not a African-American / Puerto Rican male. And emphasis on the male part. So that's just my opinions on those two books. That's why I've hold on to both of my 9.8s, and I haven't sold it. Disney-related books have been falling. America, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, most modern seem to be falling, are spiking then crashing. Historic blue keys, historic, yes, and that's correct. Historic blue keys have been actually fine and actually been going up, but certain books in these characters have actually gone up, like America Chavez Vengeance 1, the variant, had actually been holding steady. Elite Comics 11 actually just sold a 9.6 for $1,399, $1,000 and $399 for a 1 in 15 variant for America Chavez. So I'm seeing it. Numbers, they're not reflective on GPA because this is a consignment page. So I've seen that book sell. Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel is gonna jump up more once people realize some of her books are hard to get. Like, for example, like the 1 in 100 for her number one, where she becomes the new Miss Marvel. People weren't ordering 100 of these books to get this book. People weren't ordering 50 to get the colored version of these books. The colored version 1 in 50 at one point, I don't know if it still is, at one point, the 9.8 of the 1 in 50 and the cover A was the same price. Same price for a cover A and a 1 in 50. The 1 in 100 was like, I want to say a couple of $100 more than the cover A. So those I think those variants people are starting to pick up because most modern variant keys actually have been going up because they're very hard to get, and as long as it's just not a variant of nothing, those Miles variants, those Riri, those Miss Marvel, all those characters have actually been holding steady. I've been noticing it, and they've been easy to sell on on Elite. So let's see what else I had. Oh, I talked about this at the beginning. Is it time to buy or sell? I believe it's time to do both. If you want to sell, I think it's a great time to sell because people are buying, but like I said, they have to be buying at the right price. So selling, I think is very good right now, especially if you're selling the right stuff. Like somebody mentioned it earlier, Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is flying. I've sold a lot of Fantastic Four keys, and I'm getting more of those books graded, and I'll be selling more of those books when they come back. Buying, it's a great time to buy if you are focused and not shooting like a shotgun shell with the pellets all over the place. If you're focused, buying is a great time because you can focus in, buy books like I said, like I talked about this book, and you can get a good deal on it. Also, another reason why buying is a good time, and it also depends on the like Marvel, DC, and stuff like that. This book here, saying why it's a good time to buy as well, and good time to sell, is because this book, I tried to find it on eBay, I couldn't find it. I probably would have to go to some auction houses to get this book. This is the first appearance and origin of Mary Marvel and the Marvel family from 1942, Golden Age. Super hard book to get. It's a CC Beck cover. It has a lot of things going for it. It's a painted cover by CC Beck. Great back cover as well with some cards and stuff. So it's definitely not an easy book to come by, but I think it was priced amazingly, especially for a book you can't find. So it was the right time to sell for the person to sell, and it was the right time to buy it. I think, in my opinion, because it went hand in hand. T-Locks is in the house. T-Locks the Mighty says, anytime prices are falling, it's great for me. Depends on what's falling and what are you trying to buy, because FF1, FF keys are not falling. If you don't want FF, perfect. So that's what's going on with there. ASM 1, Volume 1, the keys are not falling, Tyler. So I don't know where you see falling. Those ASM keys are not falling. But if you're not after that Volume 1 keys, then yeah, you can get good deals on the filler books. I know the filler books are not price high, and then they were going up, and those kind of have flatlined filler books. But yeah, those keys of ASM Volume 1, let me know where they fall in at Tyler, and I'm going to buy them. There's like a couple other things. If anybody have any questions or comments, let me know. But I think I have one thing left. And I said, what do I think holds the future on key comics, blue chip books, or modern keys variants? What do I think about blue chips? I think blue chips are going to continually go up. I think they're going to be more methodical, but I think they're going to go up. FF, X-Men, even certain books like Journey to Mystery, Tales of Suspense 39. I think those are still going to steadily go up. I was on the end of thinking that like a book like Tales of Suspense 39 was going to drop in price after they killed off Iron Man. Highly mistaken. That book has gone up more since they killed off Tony Stark than it has when he was in the MCU. So blue chips, those books that I mentioned, are going to continue to go up, and they're going to continue to get priced out, and you're just going to have to save up. Like modern books, I think that's going to take a turn for lower, like, I think that's going to go down. Modern books meaning like new books, because people are starting to realize like, hey, I might not like reading digital, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper, and I can save. Let's say say they're spending $300 every week on modern books. Let's say they save $200 a week. $200 a week times 4 is what, 800? It's $800 in a month. I know a lot of people here and other people I've talked to, if they had extra $800 a month, they would buy some big ass keys. What's up, Someday? What's going on? Appreciate you stopping through. So I think modern reading books are going to go down in price. Blue chips, I think, are going to be good. And key comics, depending on the key. Villain keys, unless it's like Spider-Man, the first 10 issues, like villains, or Fantastic Four major villains, like Galactus, Silver Surfer, stuff like that. Those are going to continue to go up, but those villain books, I believe that people are starting to realize that you got to get them before the announcement. You sell them when the announcement or a trailer, then you rebuy them later if you want the book back, because you can get it almost back. You probably get it back cheaper than what you. Well, you definitely get it back cheaper than what you sold it for. So I think those books are gonna drop because people start to realize that they're not realizing as much, because I see when certain thing makes a top 10 list of a book that just has an announcement, no significant news. Those still go up like crazy, which is crazy. But I think all in all, I think those blue chips, I think those silver age keys, golden age, especially golden age, and it can be anything golden age, is going to continue to go up in the future. I think a lot of people are worried about the economy. I think the economy actually is going to be fine depending on where you live, because where I live, they have abundance of jobs. You can find a job anywhere. You can literally quit a job and get hired on in the same day at another job here in Louisiana. And other places, I know it's the same way. Yes, the inflation, gas, and all that stuff plays a factor, but I think wages are going to change and go up because they've been in the process of needing to go up in the last 20 years. So yes, inflation stuff is going up, but wages are going to have to counteract, because if you're paying more for something, I need to get paid more, and it's going to work itself out. And usually a bear market, which we're kind of in, doesn't last that long. It lasts about about a year. So that's all I got, man. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. I'll talk to you guys later. If you want to talk more about this stuff, just hit me up in the DM.